What's up, fight fans? It is time for the Iman Report. It is Saturday, September 5th. I am finally feeling better, so we are doing an Iman Report tonight, recapping UFC Fight Night 176, Overeem versus Sakai, where in this only 7 fights because fighters tested positive for COVID-19. Macy Chiasson was moved from that fight. Ricky Simone tested positive for COVID-19, then was replaced by Kevin Natividad. Natividad was pulled again. Thiago Moises and Marcos Rogerio de Lima, Jalen Turner were all tested positive for COVID-19, which led to more cancellations. This is the smallest UFC fight card since 2005. So this will probably be a pretty quick one tonight. First fight in the main event, Alistair Overeem beats Augusto Sakai by a TKO in the 5th round. This is kind of a win that does not help. In this fight, Overeem pretty much dominated Sakai. Sakai just proved he's not ready for prime time and that he's not a top 5 fighter just yet. Overeem pretty much dominated Sakai in this fight. Sakai was not in this fight at all. There was no bonus for fight of the night tonight, surprisingly, but performance bonuses go to Ovince St. Preux, Michael Pereira, Andre Muniz, and Brian Kelleher get the fight bonuses. But as for Alistair Overeem, the win does not help him that much. I think all the guys above Overeem, he's lost to, I think. I suppose you can put him up against Yarinho Rosenstruck. No. Rosenstruck has beaten him. He's lost to Curtis Blades. He's lost to Francis Ngannou. So really, most of the fighters above Overeem, Overeem has lost to at this point. So there's really no fighter above him that would benefit him. I suppose you could give him Volkov if he beats his fight against Sakai. Maybe you could go with Sergey Pavlovich should he get a win. There is really no... Really at this point of Overeem's career, he is pretty much a gatekeeper. I don't think he is a contender. He's lost to all the fighters that are ranked above Overeem. He has lost to, and I don't think there is. And I honestly don't think there is nothing more than serving as a gatekeeper, and there's nothing wrong with that for Overeem. But it does make it difficult to pair a fight against Overeem at this point. I'm going to have to look at the rankings and see where at this point and see what would be the next best fight for Overeem, as he's pretty much defeated most of the fighters that are below him. So being ranked at 5, and you got Curtis Blades likely going to fight Derek Lewis November 28th. So that's been booked already. Ngannou likely going to fight Stipe Miocic. Rosenstruck is likely going to fight the winner of those, and he's lost to Rosenstruck. Maybe you go with Volkov if he beats Walt Harris. That is possibly the best fight up there for him to take. Either that or the winner of Shamil Abdurakhimov and Cyril Gagne. Those might be. So pretty much for Overeem, it's gatekeeper fights from here on out. And would I really be interested in maybe Volkov if Alexander Volkov beats Walt Harris? And that's so these are Overeem's just stuck in that gatekeeper category. As for Augusto Sakai, he's going to have to take a bit of a step back. Sakai has maybe one day Sakai could be a top 5 fighter. It's not now. He might be a top 10 fighter, but he might have to take a bit of a step down. I think the next best fight for Sakai would be to take the loser of Walt Harris and Alexander Volkov. I think that would be the best next move for Sakai. Or you could give him Junior Dos Santos, who's lost 3 in a row. In the fight before that, Ovince St. Preux beats Alonzo Menifield via TKO. St. Preux, another guy who's probably a gatekeeper who's a gatekeeper. But it gets him a performance of the night bonus. But St. Preux has the ceiling, and he is the definition of a gatekeeper at this point of his career. So what should be next for OSP? Maybe the winner of Ed Herman and Mike Rodriguez. That's a possibility. Or Jamal Hill. Well, no, Jamal Hill's going to probably be is likely getting suspended for marijuana. I honestly don't think that marijuana should result in fighters getting suspended anymore, as in many states, marijuana has become approved for recreational use. So I think that's got to change with the marijuana rule on that. So I suppose you can put him against the winner of Herman and Rodriguez. That's what I'm going to go with for. That's what I'm going to go with for St. Preux. Alonzo Menifield, that is 2 losses in a row. It's likely back to the drawing board for him. He lost to Devin Clark the fight before that. So now he's going to have to take a step down in competition. Maybe Hurricane Ike. No, I kind of think he's going to get cut. So maybe the winner, maybe the loser of that's a Bellator fight. I'm really maybe you put Menefeld against a debutante. I'm not sure, or it's going to have to be a fighter very low, but it's going to be a back up. It's going to need to be a tune-up fight for Menefield's. What I think's got to be next for him. So yeah, there's not a lot of. Yeah, I'm going to go with a debutante. So yeah, I think a debutante's what's next for Menefield. Just any can to get Menefield back on track is what's needed for him. In the fight before that, at welterweight, Michael Pereira submits Zalim Imadaev by a submission. Pereira looking like a bright prospect in the welterweight division. Michel Pereira. Michel, not Michael. Michel Pereira. Maybe not a bright prospect. I'll take that back. But he does snap a 2-fight losing streak. So what should be next for Michel Pereira? Technically, the loss for that he was disqualified, but he does get back in the win column against Imadev, and I think another prospect that could be good for Michel Pereira could be Tristan Connolly. I think that one could be. I think that could be a fun fight there. Pereira versus Connolly. I'll go with that. As for Zalim Imadev, all right, for Imadev, that is 3 losses in a row, 0-3 in the UFC. That usually means adios. I think for Zalim Imadev, he's going to get cut after this fight. Maybe better luck wherever he goes. 0-3 is just going to 0-3 is usually means adios in the UFC, and I think that's what's next is unemployment for Imadev. Andre Muniz submits Bartov's Fabinski via submission. Muniz looking like a very bright prospect in the UFC after being a standout on the Dana White Contender Series, possibly one of the top prospects coming out of the Dana White Contender Series. Now 2-0 in the UFC, and I think he is going to get a jump in competition after tonight's fight. I think what could be next for him could be a fight between the winner of Bavon Lewis and Trevin Giles. I think that could be a very fun fight for Andre Muniz. I think that's what should be next. As for Bartosz Fabinski, he is 1-2 in his last 3 fights. I kind of think he's going to get maybe a fighter close to the cut line at this point. Fabinski's job could be in jeopardy next time up. I suppose you can put him up against Akai Patolo if he's not cut from the UFC. Patolo right now, 1-3 in the UFC. Certainly could be fighting for his job in his next fight. Put Fabinski and Patolo. Loser that fight gets cut. I think I'll go with that. Brian Keller submits Ray Rodriguez in the first round at 39 seconds. Keller simply rebooked the fight with Ricky Simone, give him a camp, let him fight at 135. Ray Rodriguez, he being thrown to the wolves in 1 day's notice. Go to give him a debutante, give him a full training camp, and see what the kid actually has. Just thrown to the wolves too soon. Fight before that, Vivian Araujo beats Montana De La Rosa via unanimous decision. As for Vivian Araujo, I think the next fight for her should be Alexa Grasso. Grasso was 1-0 in her debut. I think Araujo and Grasso would be a really good fight. Montana De La Rosa taking the loss. De La Rosa 1-2 in the UFC. Might fall out of the top 15 rankings after tonight. It's not exactly been a great year for the De La Rosas in the UFC. Montana definitely starting to trend downward in the UFC. maybe the loser of Deanna Barnett and Liz Carmouche. That could be. Never mind. Carmouche is now in Bellator. The loser of Ariane Lipsky and Antonina Shevchenko. I think that's what could be next for Montana De La Rosa. And in the opener tonight's fight, Hunter Azur beats Cole Smith via unanimous decision. Azur getting back in the win column after getting knocked out by Brian Kelleher. What should be next for Azur? Currently ranked 94. The winner of Erwin Rivera and Andre Ewell. That should be next for Hunter Azur. As for who should be next for Cole Smith, Ranger Will Robinson. Looks like Cole Smith is now 0-2. 1-2 in the UFC, so he will maybe get another fight. But I do think it will be a fighter near the cut line. So I'm going to probably put him against a fighter that's in danger of being cut. I think I'll go with Ulka Sasaki, who's also lost 2 in a row in the UFC. No, not okay. Never mind. Sasaki is not in the UFC. This is the difficult thing about pairing these lower end fighters is that you get Well, if he's still in the UFC, maybe Kwan Ho Kwok would probably be what should be next for him in a loser leaves town fight. All right, everybody, have a good weekend. I'll probably might be back tomorrow since I'm feeling better. We're going to do a NFC West preview tomorrow, and then Wednesday we'll do NFL Week 1 print. Do my picks for the Week 1 of the NFL season. That's right, NFL season is back on Thursday, and the Iman Report will be doing picks on Wednesday for games and post game show after Sunday Night Football every Sunday for the next 17 weeks. So we are going to be ramping up here on the Iman Report with the NFL returning. Everybody have an awesome night. Stay safe, stay cool, conserve energy. Good night.